Welcome to the TI4 NA hub here in Zaire's bedroom at the BTS house. Shadows of the Past. Going to be playing Team eHug on What Is Hip with me today. Face Kit. It's the first time we've cast together.
It'll be fine.
Yeah,
I'm looking
I'm
forward to
excited.
it. Should be good.
Team eHug off to a bit of a rough start, as is Shadows of the Past. Both these teams are looking for their first win today.
Yeah.
So both 0-2 Team eHug did have a unfortunate FF win, or FF loss, for their first game.
Yeah. So
And game number 2 did not go too well for them up against top 5. So Shadows of the Past have had some very hard games. They played up against Gnar, and they played up against Sna. So predictably, honestly,
predictable
they lost.
losses.
Yeah. So
would have been upsets had they taken
yeah.
them.
At this point, these are the games that they're really looking to win to try to cash in, get into that top 4, and move on to day number 3.
Yeah, and I think there's a really big momentum hit for eHug in losing that first game to the Def loss.
I talked to some of the
it's gotta
players.
shake you a little
They were
bit.
tilting.
Yeah,
That's the only way I can describe it.
What a frustrating way to start, because people have been mentioning eHug as one of those potential dark horse teams. I know that Syndrin mentioned that they were maybe potential top 4 material for him, maybe that number 4 spot. Mm-hmm. So for that to happen, you need to beat all the teams that you're supposed to beat.
Exactly.
And then maybe take 1 or 2 surprise wins.
Exactly.
And if you lose that game, that one automatically, well, then you're
It's
in big
hard,
trouble.
yeah. I mean, they were up against Union Gaming. I think that's a game that you expect them to win.
Yeah, I don't
To be
think.
honest.
Yeah, I think that was definitely eHug being favored going in, but
But let's hop into the draft here. And we've got Shadows of the Past. They've picked up the Centaur War Runner. This is definitely one of their favorite heroes. They picked this hero quite a bit. Nayrock likes it a lot in the offlane. And they've also paired that up with an Invoker. So Team eHug have gone for the Lycan and Mirana. They're one of the only teams, I have to say, who have been playing the Lycan quite a bit in 6.81.
Whenever they've been getting it, have they been running it like Radiant Dire?
I think they've been just playing it whenever they have the chance.
Okay. I think it's definitely still a very strong hero. It's just so much... The focus has shifted so much more to... You have to get those tier 1 towers down before 20 minutes, because that's the momentum that you need from the Lycan. There's been a lot of games that I've seen where it used to be that the Lycan could kind of recover and then start taking the towers and things would be okay, but if he gets off to a bad start, especially on the Radiant, then those tier 1 towers can just stay up for 25-30 minutes, and at that point you're down 7-8k gold. The game is just...
It's over.
The game is just over. So... I don't know. I think Lycan, for some teams, still definitely pick worthy. A lot of teams will, I think, overemphasize putting pressure on the Lycan as well, and that makes space for your other lanes. Because the Lycan's getting ganked, and you've still got Howl going on. Even if the Lycan is getting focused really heavily, then your other lane should at least be doing a little bit better than you might expect. So there's always that factor there as well.
Yeah, absolutely. So moving on forward here into the second ban phase after Team eHug picking up Mirana, and this is another hero that we see them play a lot. So Team eHug seem to have gotten a draft here that they really wanted after banning out the Sand King and the Trio Protector. On the other side, Shadows of the Past, they banned out the Naga, the Bat Rider, and now the Rasta. So how do you feel about these bans?
I think bans actually from Team eHug are a little bit interesting. I like that they banned out the Trio Protector, given that they were trying to maneuver towards the Lycan. It's one of the sort of the new tech, well, not new tech, but
Tech that people are using.
Tech that people are using to try and deal with the Lycan. Obviously, Lich got buffed a little bit as well. I know that people have been bringing up the Frost Armor on buildings as a potential way to keep your towers up longer, slow down the Lycan's push. But yeah, so it looks like Team eHug, all of their bans are pretty much laying the groundwork for the Lycan to be able to push and split push. You don't want to be 5-manning into the Sand King, into the Train Protector, and the Disruptor can actually be really punishing for the Lycan as well. If he's solo pushing and you don't know where the wards are, then there can just be a TP glimpse from the Disruptor all the way back to the tower, and Shapeshift isn't going to save you. So,
especially with that new HP nerf. I mean, it
no
seems to have made a
HP.
big impact on the way that Lycan has played and his win rate in 6.81. And I've been a little bit surprised. I mean, when I initially saw that nerf, I was like, oh, it seems like a little annoying, but I think the Wolves are still very good. But his win rate has certainly dropped quite a bit.
Yeah, Lycan to me is starting to feel really reminiscent of Lifestealer when he got hit by the nerf bat. So he was first pick for a really long time and almost uncontested first pick. We're seeing him every single match within the first round. And then he got tweaked, and teams started to have to lay a lot more groundwork to make the pick worth it. We started to see teams like really consistently banning Shadow Demon and Viper and Bane, and they had to spend almost all of their bans just making the one pick worth it. And the same thing, I mean, you can kind of see it in this draft, is happening with Lycan. And then sometimes you have to wonder, well, if we have to do this much other legwork in our draft to make the pick work, is it worth that first pick. Like I think Lycan is still definitely pick worthy, but
Perhaps
I
not in
think
that first
I
slot.
think there can be a little bit of debate as to whether or not he needs to be picked
Yeah.
right in the first two.
Like you said, they have cleared out some decent space for him, so I think he should be able to split push pretty well. And really start knocking down those towers, and that's why you picked the Lycan. So
Yeah, exactly.
we'll see if eHug are able to successfully pull that off. As Shadows of the Past have picked up the Luna, carry that has been continually seeing play for really the last couple of months, and just a pretty reliable source of damage. She does decent in the mid game once you have Eclipse. Good right click, scales well into the late game. Pretty strong hero all around. Can be a bit of an issue if they pick up a good BKB timing, but eventually, if you start still alive, those start to run down. You have a lot of physical damage as Luna as well. So
Yeah, it's just a really nice mix as far as carry power is concerned. It doesn't leave you necessarily vulnerable to aggressive tri-lanes, to tri-lane versus tri-lane, because she's good there. She's got some mid-game presence with the Eclipse. She's really good as far as taking Roshan down as well, just getting that little bit of extra bonus damage over to your team. Also a pretty good farmer, pretty good late gamer. So, man fighting can be a little bit of a problem for her up against some really heavy right-click carries, but that I would say is probably like the one big weakness of the Luna. She's pretty susceptible to ganks as well, and I like this pickup from Team eHug. The Shadow Demon has some really nice synergy with the Mirana, obviously, and it also denies it to Shadows of the Past. And Shadow Demon plus Luna is absolutely classic. The defensive disruption from the Shadow Demon is a great way to make up for the squishiness of the Luna. If she gets focused, you get the defensive disrupt, you buy some space, and away you go. And it means that you can sort of prevent ganks up until the point where you've got your BKB. The other big thing as well is if you're ahead, you can max out disruption, and you can start the really slow high ground siege by just sending illusions, sending Forge
mass
Spirits.
illusions.
Yeah, and just no risk chip damage on the tower every single time. So I like this from eHug a lot. I think the Shadow Demon is going to be nice here.
Yeah, and like you said, it also pairs up pretty well with that Mirana, so it does give them a little bit of offensive game to try to kill the Mirana with disruption initiations and arrow. So I think Team eHug have a decent response here, but they've paired that up with the Enchantress as well. And Shadow Demon is a hero that Pandago plays a lot. It's definitely one of his most played heroes. It's one that he very highly favors, for a lot of the reasons you just mentioned. And they're going to pair that up with Enchantress. So we've got Enchantress versus Chen. This is something we haven't seen in a while.
Yeah, it definitely favors the Enchantress. You've got the lower cooldown on Enchant. It has some pretty good stats. And I really like this from Team eHug. This is kind of, I would say, the one big team that everybody mentions when we see this kind of style is the LGD Int-esque strategy. When they first made their appearance in China,
I remember.
when they first started out, it was lots of roaming Shadow Demon plus Chen or Rubik plus Enchantress, and just applying a lot of pressure in the early game. And I think the Team eHug could even choose to potentially just start off aggressively jungling here. So the Shadow Demon and the Enchantress just try and drive the Chen out of his own jungle. They steal a couple of creeps at the start. Maybe they can plop down some wards as they retreat out to look for their first gank. And it's a really nice setup to have so far, especially for ganking the Invoker. Shadows of the Past could potentially try and grab something and run a little bit of a duo lane on mid and put the Invoker up on the safe lane. But realistically, I think with the way that the draft is played out, he's just going to be mid, and that leaves him a little bit exposed.
Yeah, absolutely. And Enchantress is definitely one of the heroes we've seen picked up to punish the Invoker. Often. There's just such a good range of creeps. I mean, obviously there are some creeps you prefer, but really there's a lot of creeps that can help punish that Invoker. So I think Enchantress should have a pretty good chance here, and it looks like we're going to be waiting for... I mean, it kind of depends how this Mirana is going to be. It could be a Sport Mirana. Normally Jigglebilly is the person who plays the Mirana, but they have the Lycanthrope, so are they going to put Jiggle on the traditional hard carry, or are they going to swap it around? Hard to say. Team eHug little bit flexible in their roles, but the last pickup here for Shadows of the Past, Vengeful Spirit, I like this quite a bit. Very aggressive, and should provide them with some good opportunities to get some kills with that stun.
Yeah, adds to the push. It gives you that defensive capability as well that we were kind of talking about with the Shadow Demon. If you play well with the Vengeful Spirit, have some good positioning, you can always swap your Luna back to safety, so that's really nice to have as far as this game is concerned, and gives you a little bit of extra Roshan power as well. So Shadows of the Past, a big thing for them could be if they get some early momentum going, they could slap down all of the tier 1 towers within 12-15 minutes, and then just head straight into Roshan, pick up that first Aegis, and keep on going from there. And so it looks like for eHug, it is going to end up being Mirana mid, probably Lycan safe, and then Timbersaw offline. I think they could have maybe picked up something else for mid and run the Mirana offlane, especially if they were looking to apply a lot of aggressive roaming pressure from the Shadow Demon and the Enchantress. But like we talked about, they're more likely going to be paying attention to mid lane, and that would mean that the Mirana isn't so great as far as the offlane is concerned, even though it is the Radiant offlane.
Yeah, we do have Justin here, who is normally the mid player on the Lycan, and
Okay.
Jiggle is on the Mirana again, but I'm not sure that means that it's actually going to be a mid lane Lycan. I think they are pretty flexible in the way that they've been playing recently, so we'll have to find out. But let's go through some team introductions here. For Shadows of the Past, looking to grab their first win. We've got Risk on the Luna, or 1. Chicken MC going to be on the Invoker. Last Hit Magic on the Chen. Nayrok's going to be on the Centaur Warrunner, and Joik on the Vengeful Spirit.
Yep, and well, they've got a smoke movement so far. Are they doing level 1 Urshan? Is this the go? No, okay, never mind.
That would be some.
They might have been able to. I think they only would have needed. They would have needed one more melee hero with a stat shield and some salves. But basically, Luna plus any 2 melee heroes with stats and salves are actually able to level 1 Urshan. All you need is the damage from the aura. So I'm a little bit surprised that eHug not gonna try and scat that out. They do end up arrowing into Roshan, yeah. So they're a little bit suspicious. Yeah. The reason that they're suspicious is that normally with a Chen draft, you would just be running over here to the hill to try and reveal people moving up into your jungle to block out some camps. So I think that's a big reason why eHug got suspicious when they moved up the hill and didn't find anybody.
Yeah, and for Team eHug, it's going to be Jigglability on the Mirana. I'm a Sheep. Sucks. Picking up the Enchantress. Pandago going to be on the Shadow Demon. In the mid lane, we've got Justin on the Lycanthrope. And down bottom, Cakes going to be picking up the Timbersaw. And there's a lot of heroes waiting for him here.
Okay, so they are actually going, well, kind of aggressive. I mean, I think the Shadow Demon and the Mirana are going to be roaming a whole lot. And it looks like they actually... Okay, so they anticipate... Both teams have, like...
Mind gamed
mind gamed one another, and I think it's actually worked out better for eHug. Luna is not a 3v1 hero in the slightest, but the Timbersaw should be alright here. So long as he stays away from the Vengeful Spirit, that's the only stun that they have to lead, and that means that so long as he knows where she is, and he keeps his distance, then he'll still be able to sit in experience range. Meanwhile, for the Luna, I just don't know what she can get here. Maybe look to run some pulls, but I definitely think that it has to be Shadows of the Past to respond to this laning configuration. And that's a nice advantage out of the gate for Team eHug.
And Last Time Magic has found himself a creep here in the jungle. Joik looking like maybe they were going to roam towards the mid lane. I will be curious to see if they want to try to get a kill on this Timbersaw. Vengeful Spirit rotating back over. Looks like it's a possibility for them. They're definitely considering it. And this Luna, like we were talking about, going to have to be mighty careful in this top lane.
Yeah, the one really sad thing for Cakes is that all of the warding is being put up on the top side of the map for the Radiant, so they have no idea where the Venge is moving through.
Taking a lot of damage. Stun goes through. Stomp as well. Is he going to fall here? There's no double edge available, but he's very close. Gets right-clicked down by Joik. Gets caught by that Venge stun, just like you were saying.
I think it's just too... He's playing a little bit too aggressively, given that I think he'd seen the Vengeful Spirit and the Chen, and he knew that they were down here on the bottom side of the map. I think Cakes was just thinking, oh, okay, well, the Centaur can't really take me 1v1, so I'm just going to play out, make sure that I get a little bit of farm, and does end up giving away the first blood as a result. But not a huge deal, I think, overall here for Team eHug.
Yeah, and this top lane does seem to be going very well for them. Doing quite well in CS for the Mirana up at 7, and, well, Luna just can't even get near the lane, to be honest. They've got some great pulls going on, Sheep rotating around. Oh, there's another kill in bottom lane. Cakes dies again.
Yeah, they looped the Centaur around back behind the tower, I think, so... Coppertune a bit of a... Centaur in a hard place there, and another kill on Cakes, so he's not having the best time. And this is... I guess this is the other approach for Shadows of the Past, which is just... Say, screw what's going on top lane, we're not going to rotate to try and stop that. We're just going to push down this tier 1 tower quickly as we can, because until the Timbersaw gets level 6, he just can't counter.
Can't really do anything.
Yeah.
In the mid lane, there was a bit of an attempt on a gank by Chicken MC, but he was able to make it back there, and they used the ensnare, but it was just not even close to enough. He was too far back.
Top, disruption, looks like down goes the Luna.
Falling. And like you were saying, I mean, this is just a really great initiation combo. If you've got any practice with it at all, it's extremely strong. And now they're rotating over, maybe trying to get a return kill after getting the tower down, but looks like Sheep's not going to be able to get there in time.
So I think it was smart how Shadows of the Past chose to play this, but eHug deciding, okay, we can't go for a push race, or at least in their minds, they didn't want to try and go for the tower exchange. So they just end up rotating the Enchantress down. But I think this is still working out better for Shadows. And while eHug are putting good pressure on the Luna, she's not a terrible catch-up hero at all. You get your one farming item, you know, whatever it is, Dominator, Mask of Madness, Yasha, that's fine. And you can always catch up. Meanwhile, the Invoker, another arrow going to connect top lane.
Top lane, but Joyke's coming back over. They're going to try to get a kill. Luna is so close to dying. Risk, can he make it out? No, Pandago gets him in the end. The Soul Catcher, the right clicks enough to grab him. And in the mid lane, Justin taking damage. It's a Sentry Ward. Sunstrike looks like it missed. And I think he's going to be okay. Close, though.
Yeah, I think the Sunstrike landed, but they just didn't quite have the damage to finish him off there. But, yeah, Shadows, some nice movements around the map so far. Again, the Invoker not really being pressured a whole lot. Though eHug are leading as far as CS is concerned.
Nayrok's taking a lot of damage. Bottom. Cake's really bringing it to him. Sheep trying to run him down, but not quite fast enough.
So just a pretty even game overall, honestly. The next couple of minutes are going to be pretty important. Well, we have been... another arrow top.
Jeez.
Bye, Joyke.
Got him. That's so brutal. They just need to stay away from that Shadow Demon, man.
Yeah, I think the SD's positioning, Pandago's been playing really well. Just stays in the fog. As soon as somebody feels comfortable, they're like, oh, the Shadow Demon's not here. Why am I letting the Mirana get any CS at all? Like, you just get out of my lane. And then the Pandago says, hey, I'm still here. Bye-bye, disrupt arrow.
Yeah.
Another kill.
And it's working quite well for them as... Now, Jigglypuff has not gotten any of those kills, but he is certainly farming quite well, getting that assist gold as well. And Pandago, well, he's got quite a bit of farm for himself already at 4.5 minutes with those 3 kills, so... Picked up some boots, smoke, wars as well, so he's going to be looking to make an impact on other lanes now.
Yeah, I like this because it opens up the Enchantress to go for a slightly greedier build. She doesn't need to be buying all those support items because Pandago has all of this early gold for himself, so I think that really helps out. And it means that the Enchantress can be much more of a semi-carry and a late-game damage dealer, which could turn out to be pretty important here.
Yeah, and it looks like Shadows of the Past going to be going for a kill here on Jigglypuff. They're going to try to even this one up. He seems to know this is coming. Is he going to be able to make it out in time? It looks like he is. Smoke gank failed. Unfortunately there for Shadows of the Past. Oh, Pandago, they're going to catch him. Do they have enough damage? They have to be very careful here. Waiting, Soul Catcher is going to come out. They even grab the troll. Oh, man. Oh, wow. What an arrow. Last hit. Magic gets hit. Standing in the stairs. The Sunstrike not even needed. Justin right-clicks down the Chen, and that was quite an arrow.
Yeah, really nice team coordination there from eHug. And they had so many more people in the vicinity when that 2v2 broke out between the two ganking squads. So just a really nice response from them. And eHug, things looking pretty good. While we've been emphasizing the fact that the Invoker hasn't really been pressured by the Enchantress, which is what I thought the big focus of the Enchantress pickup was going to be. So the Invoker's got good farm, but the trade-off has also been that the Lycan is relatively unpressured, and Justin's been doing pretty well for himself. And that's the other big thing that we emphasized in the draft. If the Lycan can have a pretty good start, he can have a huge impact in the game, snowball down his tier 1 towers, and secure a lot of farm. And Cakes, despite back-to-back deaths on bottom lane, the pressure that his team has been applying in the other lanes puts him in a pretty good spot.
He could be in a bad spot now, though, as he gets stomped, gets tossed by the... Oh, he almost makes it out! Vengeful Spirit Stone already came through. He gets the kill before going down on Nayrok. He does die, but at least he's able to grab one on the way out. MLS, they're going to try to roam through the jungle now. Justin, I'm not sure he's going to find much. And Risk has learned his lesson as he is way back by the tower. No Pandago around, but now he's roaming through. Uh-oh. He's going to get caught again? Running forward, trying to fog. Looks like he's okay.
Yeah, they've got this really nice ward back behind the tower as well. So they know when the Chen is on his way, they know where the Luna is at all times, and that means that the Luna just has to be terrified. And the Vengeful Spirit and the Chen are just not really holding the Luna's hand at all as far as recovering into this game. Risk is being left to just fend for himself.
Yeah, good luck, buddy. But we'll see if that works out for them. I think they need to put a little bit more pressure on the map elsewhere. I mean, they've got all these creeps. They've been trying to gank. It hasn't really worked out too well. And they do have good push potential, I think, if they can group up and maybe give some room for this Luna.
Okay, this is going to be a pretty big deal. We've got Stampede and Eclipse online. 2 Centaur stuns, the Centaur and the Centaur.
Oh, they're going to move in here. Sheep sucks. He slows down the Centaur. Disruption comes out. Sunstrike coming through. It's going to miss. Now Sheep, he's stuck. One stomp. And Starfall going down. Wow, that's a big Starfall. Gets a lot of damage off Nayrok now on the run. Soul Catcher on last at Magic. And they're just trading creeps back and forth here. And no one is going to die. Eclipse is still available. They did use Stampede.
Narok whiffed his stomp. I mean, I don't know if they would have gotten the kill anyway because the defensive disruption was there, but the Enchantress managed to run a little bit further away than I think she should have, just because that initial stomp missed. Maybe I don't know if maybe he didn't get the Stampede slow, and that's part of the reason why that played out like it did. But well, eHug don't really lose anything overall. Still more farm being gained bottom lane. Justin, Vlad's online, just gonna slap down this tower with the shapeshift. So Lycan doing very well for himself, top of net worth, and Shadows of the Past as we transition sort of into the mid game. Things not looking so great.
Yeah, things are not great at all as Last Hit Magic now taking a lot of damage from Cakes. And it looks like he's going to make it out all right. Chicken MC, though, coming over. Oh, there's an arrow in the top lane. Oh, my God. Risk is stuck way in the back here. Poison coming through. Is he going to make it out? They're dosing through the jungle. Double TP's coming in. They pop the Moonlight Shadow. Risk is going to try to TP out. They drop the Sentry immediately, so they're going to be stuck here. And Sheep is going to get blown up instantly. They're going to try to come through, though. Cakes is creating some space. Arrow goes through. There's a Sunstrike on Pandago. And, oh, he's going to die to the tower. Tries to pop the smoke to disjoint. Not quite enough. Stampede coming through. And now Jigglebilly is going to take down the tower. Nayrok running through. Cakes has come back over as well. And they are just trading blow for blow in this game. But unfortunately, there's a Lycan farming the whole time. And again, Cakes darts forward. Grabs the Vengeful Spirit. Send back on Nayrok. He's going to make it out. Eclipse goes forward. That's enough to bring down Cakes.
Yeah, Chicken MC turns up pretty late in that fight. I think he was expecting that his team had it under control, and I think it did end up being... I'm not actually sure who that was a win for overall, because the Lycan just did so much in the meantime, and they got the tower top. I mean, Pandago died a little bit clownily to the tower, but yeah, I think really nice play over. You could see what he was going for. He wanted to kill the tower so that they would remove the True Sight and they could just run out with the Moonlight Shadow, but it looks like Pandago and Jiggle not quite on the same page about that one, and by the time Jiggle had cottoned on, unfortunately the tower was already about to finish off the Shadow Demon.
Yeah, and now finally the Arcane Boots are done for Cakes, so he's recovering okay. I mean, he has died a couple more times, but picked up a couple return kills, and now with those Arcanes online, Chakram is going to be a much bigger issue. He's going to be able to use it much more often here, but at the same time, I mean, Chicken MC has a Midas. Lycan, how is he doing? He has that Vlad's like you mentioned, and I think there's something coming out on the core here. Yes, there is.
Yeah, I'm not sure if this is a Necrobook game for either side, because you've got Chen and Enchantress on either team. So I think the Invoker definitely not going to go for the Necro. Oh, Cakes.
Oh, mid lane. Cakes going to try to make it out. Gets stunned by Cold Snap. That's not enough. Nayrok! Oh my god, please don't die here. And he dies. To the tower. Disruption. Pandago going to try to set something up here. Risk is coming through.
No way. Really?
Is he going to make it out?
Wow.
Wow. Sometimes you make it out. And oh, the arrow! Risk. That was a very greedy TP. And he gets punished for it.
That was really nice for eHug. They got, what, 2 cores in exchange for 1 there. So Cakes continues to be the sacrificial lamb, but he's at least making plays happen. And Shadows of the Past, I think, a bit of an odd decision diving into the tier 1 tower.
And all the same time, I mean, Justin is just railing these towers down.
Yeah.
Again, he gets the tier 2 bottom.
Yeah, and it looks like he's going for an armlet here. Or maybe... I don't know if you go Vlad's and Dominator, so I think it's just gonna be the armlet for him. And like I said, there's a Chen and Enchantress on either side, so Necrobooks aren't really going to stay on your team. It would be musical Necrobooks being passed back and forth. So I think it's probably just gonna be armlet for the Lycan, and I think the Invoker definitely needs a Force Staff this game. It's so nice for getting people out of, they get disrupted, they get arrowed, you just Force Staff them away. The Chen can use the send back, just have that little bit of extra safety, because that really is eHug's setup as far as team fights are concerned. They need to land those arrows, at least up until the point where Cakes is big enough that he can maybe just Rambo in all by himself. So
yeah, not quite yet though. He is using Chakram to try to push back this mid lane push, and Shadow of the Past have balled up here. Gonna try to make something happen, but on the backside, Pandago's here. Arrow's gonna go through. It lands on Nayrok. They have this combo down to a science. Joy swaps him out, trying to make it out. Stampede goes through. He's running the Eclipse, taking down Jigglebilly. Not able to run away from the speedy Stampede. Cakes moving through though. They grab Chicken MC. Justin able to right-click him down with the true form. Now Joik is taking tons of damage. Justin right-clicking Nayrok. He's gonna go down to the impetus damage of I'm a Sheep, and now Risk, he's trying to make it out as well, and I'm not sure he's going to get away from the Lycan, but the true form about to run out, so I think he needs a bit more help. On the other side, though, Cakes has come through, pops the Chakram, runs through, brings him down.
Really nice fight for Cakes there as well. Like we've been saying, he's spent a lot of fights starting them off with immediate death. That time around, he sticks around for the whole fight. He gets all the assist gold, and the Timbersaw is straight back on track. I think as a result, and yeah, he's gonna join his teammates in the top 3 as far as net worth is concerned.
Yeah, so things going quite well for eHug at this point, and they have secured themselves a 7,500 gold lead. Up Pandago is going to get picked off by a Sunstrike in the mid lane.
Well, nicely played by Chicken MC. He is actually going for the Necrobook here. I'm not a huge fan, honestly. I feel like
I can definitely see what you're saying. Against an Enchantress, it does not seem great.
Yeah, I feel like the melee book is just going to get stolen every single time you use it. The Enchantress doesn't even necessarily need to max enchant, because unlike the Chen, she's not really using enchant for a whole lot in fights, so should always be available to steal the book.
Yeah, absolutely, and that's part of the beauty of having the Enchantress here, and unfortunately Chicken MC, I tend to agree with you. I think this is not my favorite build.
Maybe he feels that if they're going to win this game, he needs to do some split pushing. He needs to make space for the Luna to grab farm. So I think it's still understandable if he's going to be off pushing by himself, but
fair enough. Yeah.
We'll see. Yeah, I think there is still a case to be made for it. It is a little bit of a matter of preference. It just means that they have to play a slightly different style, and I feel that
more split pushy.
Yeah, we'll see, because I think in team fights it is going to be stolen.
Yeah, and Justin here is going to be found by Last Hit Magic. Do they have enough to do anything to him is the question. It doesn't really look like it. He's just going to walk out of here, and he has completed that armlet. Interesting build from Justin.
Nice way to compensate for the HP loss on Shapeshift.
That's true.
Tanks him up a little bit.
And Joik looking actually for a kill here. Sunstrike going to come through. Risk is here as well. Justin might get blown up if he's not careful. Does have the true form and the armlet available, and that is more than enough to get him out of there.
Yeah, I think Sunstrike didn't connect though. I'm not even sure if that would have made the difference. Like you said, he still had the armlet to toggle on there. So eHug, that's even just a little bit of space created by the Lycan. They're going to keep pushing in down on bottom lane. Actually ends up being a blade mail for the Timbersaw. Interestingly enough. So it looks like Cake's just deciding, well, I'm getting focused every fight. I'm dying pretty early. May as well make my HP damage for everybody on the enemy team.
Yeah, and we'll see how that works out for them. They Moonlight Shadow immediately under the tower. And, well, they're looking like they wanted to dive Nayrock bottom, but think better of it. The graphs looking pretty brutal if you're a Shadows of the Past fan. Gold graph especially.
Nice arrow again. Like you said, absolute science.
Yeah, they have this down so well. Sunstrike gonna come through though. That lands on Pandago. The cold snap, the spirits, that's enough. Joik throwing the stun in as well, but Chicken MC getting a kill there on Pandago on the way out, but I think you'll trade your support for the Centaur pretty much every time.
Yeah, the Centaur's had this blink for a while, but he just hasn't really been able to make anything happen with it, unfortunately. There isn't really anyone to move around with that well to be able to pick up kills. I mean, maybe the Vengeful Spirit, but again, you do kind of want the VS to be hanging close to the Luna to be able to get her out of sticky situations. So I was actually pretty impressed with the Blink Dagger timing from Nayrock this game, but unfortunately it just hasn't really had too much of an impact. Yeah,
he just hasn't really got the initiations like you were saying, and well, Justin's just continuing to split push them, continuing to push in their lanes, making it so they're just choked up in their base, and Chicken MC now has a Necro 2 online, Last Hit Magic. It looks like he might be building towards a mech. It's going to be quite a ways off, though. And Risk going to be building towards a drum, but he is quite underfarmed as well.
Yeah, and I guess where things started to go badly for Shadows of the Past was just that transition. I think it was really clean play, taking the tier 1 tower, how they handled Cakes down in the bottom lane. But as soon as things started to shuffle around.
Showing Last Hit Magic here.
Last Hit Magic.
Yeah, this looks like he's in a lot of trouble, all set up by those wolves, and Cake's going to finish that one off. TP coming in. Stomp. Actually, nice stomp there. Another stomp by Nayrock. Sunstrike coming through. Cakes is going to go down, and now Justin is coming back in. Nayrock getting swapped up by Joik, trying to save him, but there's a lot of impetus damage here from I'm a Sheep, continuing to rail on Nayrock. It's enough. He runs away, gets the extra damage, but now Risk turning around, gets one in return, and they also are going to lose Cakes.
Bit of a trade, bit of a dive from eHug.
Yeah.
Honestly, they saw the Chen, they were like, kill the Chen, kill the Chen, kill the Chen. Oh, and Chicken MC. Is that another? No, okay, just the four. There's all the summons. Spirits. Yeah, all the mass summons. I was like, oh, is it another Sunstrike? But no, just mass summons.
Yeah, Jiggle Billy just trying to run away from that melee Necro creep as well. But Justin continuing to farm quite well. Now has an Ogre Club. Looks like he's going to be building towards the BKB next. And with how much damage the Eclipse have been doing in the fights, I think that's a great choice. also facing up against an Invoker. Just BKB is generally something on your shopping list.
Yeah, this poor Luna is still just in struggle town right now.
She's on the struggle bus.
Yeah, just struggle boat.
Struggle boat, yeah.
Struggle barge. Who knows?
This is a big struggle here for
There's a long journey of struggling. A lot of different legs, a lot of different modes of transport. But
yeah, and it's here at 18 minutes. He has finished the drums. He's got the Morbid Mask now as well, so maybe that's enough to help him farm. But Justin in the bottom lane, it looks like he is going to go down. Nayrok catches him with the stomp, and he pairs up with Chicken MC. Now finally that Blink Dagger starting to do a bit more work.
Nayrok's making me eat my words here. I was like, oh, this Blink Dagger hasn't done a hell of a lot for Shadows of the Past, but Nayrok making the plays, so props to him.
Yeah, and now Shadows of the Past going to take this opportunity to move aggressively into Roshan, and I think this is exactly what they need to do. This gold lead has stagnated, which is definitely in favor of Shadows of the Past, and XP starting to move towards their favor as well, so maybe we've got a little bit of a comeback on our hands here.
Yeah, it could be. Chicken MC making things happen. He's 4-1 and 4. They're going to pass the Aegis over onto him. Maybe they can get some 5-manning going. If they can take down these tier 1 towers, the gold lead is not going to look nearly as impressive.
Because there's 1, 2, 3, 4 towers down compared to only 1, so they will get a lot of that back. Chicken MC, though, taking a lot of damage. Soul Catcher swap. Great swap by Joik. They drop the heal as well. Last Hit Magic nailed by an arrow. Pandago on the way out. Sunstrike coming through. Gonna hit I'm a Sheep. Sucks full on, taking the brunt of that. He's gonna mech up immediately, and without Cakes, they have to be a bit careful here. They've lost a lot of their bulk.
Yeah, the Cakes really just is the only one that can be on the front lines up until the Lycan gets his BKB. Justin is going to have that in just a second, so maybe a little bit more teamfight power for them, but the Death Ball is just charging straight down mid.
Yeah, that's a lot of creeps.
Shadows.
You can steal one if you're the Enchantress, but maybe, I mean, look how many there are. Jeez. And looks like they might keep going. Wow, that was a huge poison kill there by Pandago. He grabbed, like, all the creeps.
Yeah, Shadow Poison's legit.
Yeah, it's just this Shadow Poison minigame, man.
Shadow
how many
Poison
can you get?
out.
It's a lot of damage. I mean, you get 5 or 6 stacks, you can do some serious damage to these heroes.
It was so ridiculous when it was a mini track. That was just... That was a great time to be playing Shadow Demon. When it gave vision over anybody that had a stack on them, that was a bit strange. Nayrok blinks away, showing off that shiny new compendium.
The purple blink.
Yeah, the purple blink. Everything is purple.
Everything's purple. I love the purple Dagon. Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Purple messages, purple blink, purple fountain healing, purple bottle healing, purple TP scrolls.
Uh-oh. Jigglebilly runs straight into 2. What a leap! He's alive. Nayrok trying to run him down. They use Stampede on this. Can they get him? He needs to drop the stomp. No, they're not going to pursue any further. Arrow's actually going to come out. Oh, what an arrow! Nayrok gets caught by it. And now Jiggle's going to try to run him down here. He has the Desolator. He does have Starstorm as well. Leaf's going to be available in a second. Oh, wow. He jukes the stomp. Nayrok's going to miss that one. Blinks away. And looks like he's going to be okay.
Yeah, nice arrow, but unfortunately not going to be able to.
Yeah, not quite enough damage.
Not quite. But we'll still give him props for that.
Style points.
Yeah.
Drake's hiding in the jungle here. Needs to be a bit careful. A lot of heroes here. Yeah, looks like they have no ideas here though.
Shadows of the Past, they got something going with the initial couple of minutes of this Aegis, but I think eHug are doing the right thing. They're just applying pressure to all the lanes, avoiding team fights while Shadows have this Aegis up, and then they'll probably look to go for another push. I think as far as the eHug agenda is concerned, they just want to close this game out within the next couple of minutes, probably once the Aegis is faded, because they haven't really gone for farming items. They've gone for the BKB on the Lycan, which is a fighting item, and they've gone for the Desolator over on the Mirana, which is not a farming item by any stretch of the imagination. Basically, when you get the Deso as your one big core item for the Mirana, you're looking to close the game out.
Yeah, you're saying
I
want to kill people.
Otherwise, you could probably have gone for the Maelstrom, or just a Yasha into a Manta style, which are both a lot more farming oriented. Yeah. So I think eHug definitely signaling that they're looking to just wait out that Aegis or maybe find a pickoff. And then take those tier 2s.
Is this going to be the one they? Is this going to be the one they want? Last Hit Magic does get the in-snare on Cakes. Disruption though by Pandago, going to keep him there for just a second, and looks like in the end they're going to be okay. Now Shadows of the Past, bit of a ball of themselves, and Cakes rather picks up the Illusion Rune, and Graph's continuing to move towards the direction of Shadows of the Past, and you know, with the Lycan getting the Armament as well, that's definitely a much more early game oriented item.
Yeah, definitely.
So, eHug have declared their intentions, like you're saying. Oh, arrow. Wow, Chicken MC wastes the Aegis, getting caught by the arrow. Jigglebilly has had some seriously good plays.
The Jiggler.
The Jiggler, man. Can't underestimate the jiggle factor.
Yeah. And eHug, not looking too shaken. I think especially after how those
They've had a rough morning, man.
Yeah, we said coming into this match
tilting.
that we were worried that they might be a little bit on tilt, and things are getting tough. There's some adversity up ahead, but they're still making the plays. They're still making things happen. And Lasted Magic in some trouble here.
Slowed. Stampede going to go through Joik with another defensive swap, but Lasted Magic turns back around, wastes it, drops a couple stomps there. Looks like maybe a little bit of missed micro. And
Creeps getting traded back and
creeps
forth.
are just back and forth and back and forth. And Cake's going to jar forward here. It looks like eHug would like to secure this tower now that they've killed that Aegis for free, really. That was a huge pickup for them, just annihilating that Aegis.
Yeah, and the Luna still doesn't have BKB. Also, they blew the swap and the Stampede, which are their two big defensive cooldowns outside of what the Chen brings to the table. So it's going to be very difficult for them. If this Luna puts one toe out of line, then they're in big trouble. And Joik actually uses a stun there on the illusion from the Timber Saw, so that's a little bit strange. But the eHug Siege is just going to continue here.
Yeah, and it looks like they're going to be able to get this tower eventually, and they're backing up for the moment, waiting for the creep wave a little bit, but they don't have too much they have to do here. And Cakes looked like he was maybe looking for an initiation, but now I think eHug have decided they don't really want to run head-on into all those heroes.
Yeah, it is a little bit of a choke point. If the Centaur gets a good stomp off, that can just be disaster as far as the team fight is concerned.
Fight over.
And I think they're getting reasonably close to the BKB on the Mirana. Okay, Jiggle doesn't have his Mithril Hammer just yet, so he still has a little bit to farm. That's maybe the next big timing that they kind of have. Cake's even just going even more on this early to mid game. He just picks up a Vanguard. Wow. So eHug are not itemizing for the late game at all. That's no Shivas on the Timber Saw, no Bloodstone. I don't know. Maybe this was a. This feels like it has to be intentional because I think you can. There's a grace period to disassemble Vanguard if you accidentally build it on your way to Bloodstone. Yeah. So well, it looks like Cakes is stuck with that one way or the other. And Shadows of the Past actually managed to get something out on the swingback there, so they managed to pick up a tier 1 tower. Not a hugely important tower for the Radiant overall, though. It's the offlane tier 1.
Bad. Yeah, that's a tower that
still gold.
Yeah, they're not willing to risk some fights over, but that is gold for Shadows of the Past, and well, XP now even. Continuing to trade fight for fight though, and now it's a Basher actually.
Oh, Jiggle, more arrows. Nayrok in trouble mid lane. Oh, there's going to be a Hand of God coming in. Looks like he's going to survive mass TP support on its way, but Jiggle's just going to back off.
Yeah. You got to pick your fights, and when there's that many TPs, you need to be very careful. Tornado going to go through. Not quite there. And Cake's just continuing to push in this top lane. Justin continuing to roam towards the bottom lane. He now has the BKB up. He now has the Basher up. So he's going to be doing quite a lot of damage in those fights.
Yeah, Risk has had this Dominator for a little bit, but unfortunately, just because of how their map control has worked out after the early game, just haven't really been able to do too much. And these Wolves might even just kill the Dominated range creep. Poor guy. No, okay, never mind. Just gonna do a little bit more scouting. And eHug actually moving into position. Moonlight Shadow's been popped. This is way too far out for the Luna to be. This
Courier too. Oh, he hits the Courier on the way out, and well, Risk is gonna die here.
Oh, that was a huge loss.
That was the rest of his BKB?
Was it?
I'm pretty sure.
What's your courier hotkey? You can actually just check.
Doesn't work.
All right, because it's a yeah.
It doesn't work unfortunately on this setup.
Yeah, I'll sort it out.
All right, excellent. Base Kip's on it. Mine is just not working. But obviously this isn't our normal casting setup. Normally I don't cast.
Oh yeah, so it was the Ogre Club.
All right.
Didn't quite have the recipe just yet, but yeah, that's
significant
pretty
blow,
sad. Yeah, that's not very much fun for the Luna. Gonna be back up in 20 seconds, but no Ogre Club for another 2 minutes. And Cakes picks up the last hit on the tier 2 tower mid. eHug, ping's going out.
Justin took a bunch of damage there, but not even close enough to kill him. Sunstrike getting split amongst the creeps.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
And keeping this range creep eye on Roshan here. This is a pretty long Rosh. Gonna be up in a couple of minutes. eHug just continuing the pressure. Do you think they wait for this Rosh to be up to move to high ground?
I think if they can get a pick off, they can definitely
just go for
just go up onto the high ground. Do we have a gem on either team? That's my question.
One on Lasted Magic.
Yeah, that's actually been a really important.
Also one on Pandago.
That's been a hugely important pickup for Shadows right now, because normally in this kind of position, as far as the game is concerned, with eHug, having a little bit of a lead, you would expect them to have some good warding and to just be able to spot where Shadows of the Past are moving. But with that gem, they don't have a single ward on the map, and that's forcing eHug into 5-manning, I think, a little bit more than they would like. Normally, when you're ahead in this kind of situation, you want to farm both jungles, you want to keep tabs on where Shadows of the Past are, and just use the fact that you're ahead. Oh.
I cannot believe that arrow hit Chicken MC. He does have a haste rune, though. Do they have enough damage to bring him down? Joik, another great swap. Eclipse coming through. Risk, gonna try to put out damage. Cakes has the blade mill up. No, he's gonna go down. Risk getting the kill. Hand of God comes out. I'm a Sheep sucks on the way out. Double edge gonna hit 2. And now they're continuing to run here. Do they have enough damage? A great arrow is gonna hit Nayrok, who might have been the one who could have moved forward there to bring that kill back, but now they're going to Moonlight Shadow, run back, and Nayrok needs to get out of there as Justin has knocked down the top tower. Not even part of the fight.
That was kind of indecisive from Justin. The fight was going on, he took the tower, and then he just started walking towards the jungle instead of putting pressure on the high ground and trying to force some TPs back. But I don't think it would have been a big deal either way. It's probably just a couple hundred damage on the tower, but given that he couldn't participate in that fight, could have maybe made use a little bit of this space. So they do end up trading. Eclipse, of course, is down. I mean, Moonlight Shadow, it's a nice cooldown to have, but it's not really a teamfight cooldown as far as eHug are concerned. So maybe a little bit of a window of opportunity for them. And Justin, all in on pretty much the teamfight / man fight build. He's going to go for the Abyssal Blade here. And I like this quite a bit.
They're saying they need to win, like, now.
Yeah, this is basically the timing, I think, for eHug. How close is that BKB? Okay, BKB on Jiggle is finished, so they've got 2 10-second BKBs to use, and that's going to make this Sheepstick pickup on the Invoker either extremely amazing, they hex somebody before he pops the BKB and they blow him up, and it makes that BKB, that 3.9k gold, absolutely useless, or knowing that it's up, eHug preemptively pop their BKBs and just doesn't do anything to the cores during the fight. It might have been spotted out by the Wolf.
Yeah, if
eHug have been keeping eyes on inventories here.
Again, they send another one in. This is definitely a scouting one, and I have to imagine now they know about it.
Yeah, hopefully they do, for eHug's sake.
Yeah, for eHug's sake. And well, Shadows of the Past moving pretty aggressively into Roche here. They've got the mob in. Are they going to go for this? It looks like we are definitely going to have a struggle over this. Need to be a bit careful. Jiggleberry has just been lobbing arrows through. And that's not a great place to get hit by an arrow. The Roche pit. A lot of bad things can happen to you.
It's a pretty good situation for Shadows of the Past. They've actually taken the time to get all the lanes moving in the right direction. So as we're seeing, Justin now has to head down towards bottom lane, try and furiously push that out, but mid lane's already heading in as well. So Shadows put themselves in a pretty good position for this Roshan, but again, we touched on, we've got gems on both sides. The vision is a little bit sketchy, and neither team knows if the other one is going for a smoke wraparound or the Moonlight Shadow is coming up the hill or something like that. So they're both just sticking as a group, playing pretty defensively.
We go. Moonlight Shadow, they're going to run.
Oh, it's been scouted, the skeletons.
Creeps. Oh, they definitely know. Pandago's getting hit by the Forge Spirits, and he says, all right, boys, time to turn this ship around. Definitely don't want to run into that one.
Yeah, nice positioning from Last Hit Magic. He has his creeps around the corner. His hero is safely back behind the trees, and that means that he gets the gem true sight. They know that it's coming, and well, that was eHug attempting to make a play, but looks like we're just going to go back to a little bit of a stalemate for now.
And still, they're just both just gathered around this Roche. I mean, eHug really want this Roshan because it will enable them to take the high ground, it's likely.
If eHug can get bottom lane in a good position, they could actually just charge up mid and try and force Shadows away from the pit and try and force a fight. But if they're feeling confident to force a fight, they could probably just run in right now anyway. But eHug realized, well, we don't really have the best initiation unless we land a good arrow, so I guess we're just going to sit here and keep on fishing. Oh, Risk. They force at the BKB.
Here. Disruption coming through. Justin, he's hexed up. He needs to not go down. He hasn't used his BKB there. He finally used it. Can he come back? He's trying to right-click back. He uses the Abyssal Blade on Nayrok, who's BK beat up in the backside, though. Cakes trying to knock down a couple heroes. Chen is going to die. Justin is going to fall eventually. Now Risk running through. Jigglebilly, he goes down in Shadows of the Past. Seems like if decisively fended this off, Jigglebilly has to buy back. Sheep is up in the air. He's not making it out of this one.
That was such a heads-up play from Nayrok. He saw that the Demonic Purge had gone out, the arrow was flying in, the Luna was forced... Oh, fight continues.
Oh, man. Down goes Risk, and it looks like eHug are trying to battle this one back. The arrow is going to hit on Chicken MC. Jigglebilly with the plays brings him down, but now down goes Nayrok, able to bring him down, but he's just way too far in, taking tons of damage from Jigglebilly, and, well, with that, down goes their gem, and oh, Jiggle almost died there. He's alright in the end.
Jigglebilly buyback, it pays dividends for them.
Yeah, now there's 4 dead for Shadows of the Past, finally just coming back up here, but with only 2 alive at half HP and a fresh Vengeful Spirit coming back, I think they're just going to take some map control here, and I'm not really sure they can move right into Roshan. They might need a bit of help.
Yeah, but just to finish that thought, it was really nicely played by Nayrok. He saw that the BKB had been forced out, and had they let the fight disengage, that would have been huge for eHug. They blew absolutely no cooldowns aside from a Demonic Purge, not a huge deal, and they got the BKB out of the Luna. But
Much
Nayrok,
bigger deal, yeah.
Nayrok realized, okay, we have to fight now. The BKB is up. We have to take this initiation. He blinked straight in, got a stomp, forced eHug to continue fighting. Really nicely played by Chicken MC as well, just to force the issue, and ends up.
Oh my God! Jiggleberry is the arrow god. Moves forward. Last hit magic is gone. What? Seriously, these have been some unbelievable arrows.
Is this Sing Sing?
This is Sing
this
Sing,
Mason?
yeah.
Who is this?
Unreal.
It's Jigglebilly.
Jigglebilly, man. The jiggle factor, and he is definitely proving his worth in this game. And, well, net worth, Justin still on top, Invoker close behind, and Justin charging into the Roshan pit here. Armlet on, wants to bring this down. Arrow going to come through, help him out a little bit, and, well, there are some heroes rotating over here. Nayrok's here. He's going to send the Wolf out to try to figure out if they know he's doing this, and it looks like they are quite unaware, and, well, there they go. They finish up the Aegis. Basically for free. Nayrok has to pop the BKB and the Stampede. Cakes is stuck on the high ground. That's a bit awkward, but he'll be able to come out of there soon.
I think Jigglebilly just saved the game for eHug. Like, Shadows of the Past won that team fight. It looked like they were going to be able to heal up, head into Roshan, take that for themselves. Jigglebilly buys back, gets the couple of kills, delays the Roshan long enough so that his team can respawn. And go in and pick it up for
also
themselves.
Picks up the Chen just as a bonus.
Yeah, you know, just because. And then Shadows of the Past took a really long time to just get eyes on Roshan to be able to be in the area. And again, that gem factor does play in a lot, but now eHug looking pretty good, going to be able to chip away on the high ground, keep sending wolves, keep sending creeps, keep sending illusions, and it forces Shadows into a position where they really have to try and find an initiation here. And, well, again, I guess the pressure falls into Nayrok one more time.
Yeah, and no Stampede is available. A couple more seconds still. That's off cooldown. It's fairly close, though. Justin, he needs to be a bit careful not to get hexed down. Whoa, wow, what a disruption there by Pandago, keeping him alive, allowing him, if he wants to use the BKB. Still has not used it. Still has True Form as well, and they're just getting some free damage on that tower.
Yeah, and they get the glyph for no commitment whatsoever either. So
yeah, great play there by eHug, and this looks like a completely different eHug than I saw in the last game. They're playing much better, much more together. I guess they had a team bonding session over there after their FF loss, and, well, they're coming back here with vengeance.
Yeah, and just no reason really for eHug to go anywhere at this point. They can just keep on pushing the high ground. The other lanes are pushing out a bit, but they got this Aegis in hand. They know that if they back off, then there's maybe a chance that Shadows can split push them until their Aegis fades, the same way that they split push Shadows until that Aegis went down. So I think they just want to try and force the issue here.
Oh, no initiation on Justin. He is going to eat an EMP. I think he took the EMP from that.
Yeah, he did.
Nice little try there by Pandago. He's had some great disruptions this game, definitely showing familiarity with that hero, but Nayrok taking damage from Cakes. Chakram sailing through here. It's on the racks, is slowing down the creeps. Stun hailing out on Cakes, but still just free chip damage on the tower, just like you were talking about, and pretty soon they can just send disruption illusions, just send them up.
Yeah, every time. And just keep on getting the damage. Shadows of the Past are not really improving their position, aside from these other lanes pushing
Which
out.
there are some massive waves here. At some point they're going to have to pay attention to them.
eHug can even just invest their glyph. I mean, the tower I think can kind of handle itself. And no, they get the Hex out there. So eHug, if they can heal up Justin, they might be able to head up onto the high ground. Should switch his treads. Okay, there we go. Swaps the treads.
He's got it.
Justin's on the money today.
He's on the ball, and now he's going to switch him back, and I think they're going to make an attempt here at the high ground. Tornado going to sail through. EMP as well. Justin's going to eat that one. He does still have enough mana for the True Form, but not for the A-Blade, so that is definitely something that he will not have available. And moving forward again, that's a lot of damage. He's going to blow the Aegis. That's just fine, though. Now he comes back full mana, ready to go. Jigglebilly, he's swapped. He's going to go down. But now Justin, BKB on Case, taking a lot of damage. He's just going to work, though. Wants to bring down Nayrok. Is he going to be able to do it? I'm a Sheep going to go down to Joik, who is going to work. Double kill, but now Justin has picked up a double of his own. Some armlet toggling there by Justin. Try to make it out. Risk going to pop off his stun. Not able to do so. Gets fogged. And, oh, I hear a Sunstrike. Nope, off the mark. Well, they don't get the tower. They don't get the buildings, though.
Well, Jiggle just got nothing off. He got
Yeah,
swapped in. He got
blown up.
immediately stopped. If he'd been able to get the BKB off right as the swap had happened, the chainstone wouldn't have been there, and I think he would have been fine. BKB, leap out, start right clicking. But the Lycan cannot win the team fight all by himself. So that was that was pretty much, I think, the best that things could have gone.
And the
for
Desolator
Shadows.
is a huge buff for them. I mean,
Yeah.
helps out the Lycanthrope, get that damage through, and Justin lives through the engagement in the end, but unfortunately they really don't get the objective that they want, and this is giving Risk time to farm up, and that's exactly what he's doing. He's got almost 4,000 gold in the bag.
Yeah, Risk. We said he was on the struggle barge. He was on the struggle bus.
The barge. He was like in charge of the struggle barge. But
It was a long trip, but he's finally made it to a position where he's doing pretty well, and he got a lot of space in that last fight as well. I don't know if you can necessarily criticize Justin for his focus fire there. Maybe you could say, okay, he beat the Centaur to death first instead of maybe he could have jumped onto the Invoker or the Luna during his BKB duration. But yeah, just the Luna with a little bit of space is cleaning up the supports, is dealing some good damage, and Shadows, that was a really difficult spot for them as well because the Aegis is up for eHug. It was a huge advantage, and now they get back to slightly more even footing. Maybe they can make some plays of their own. Maybe look for a smoke or something along those lines.
Yeah, and they are building a pretty massive gold lead at this point. It's about 10k. XP quite even as well. Shadows continues to take some pretty decent fights, and we'll see how eHug want to handle this. Do you think they just return to the mid lane and try chipping up the tower again, or they go for a little bit more split push? What's their best choice here?
Just because of the position of the waves right now, I think they're just going to hang out over in the dire side of the map for a little bit. They've got some vision making them feel reasonably comfortable about how things are going, so they're feeling that they can split up a little bit more. And yeah, looks like Shadows of the Past are just going to stay stuck for now. I don't know how confident they're feeling as far as heading up onto the high ground. Again, biggest problem last fight was just Jigglebilly didn't get his BKB off, got bursted down. So that's 15, 16k net worth that eHug has that didn't contribute anything for them. And that's not a bad play at all from Jigglebilly. He was moving in to try and help out the Lycan. It just so happened that fingers weren't fast enough to pop the BKB right as he got swapped into the fight. And that can be hard to do.
Yeah, the stomp was pretty timely as well, so pretty difficult for him. AC up now for Justin, and they're just continuing to kill the towers, kill the building plan, and end this game as quickly as possible. But we're at 40 minutes. Starting to scale into the later parts of the game. 5,000 gold now for Risk. His BKB at 8 seconds. And, well, initiation. They're going to try to bring him down here. Can he get the BKB? Oh, Joik. No. He's dead.
Oh, and Chicken MC.
Oh, he gets brought down. And now Justin, he's going to work on Risk. He gets brought down. Last Day Magic dies as well. Suddenly, 4 dead from Shadows of the Past. Double buyback. Joik as well as Risk have bought back immediately. So Risk gold not going to use on an item there. And Joik, again, disrupted. This looks familiar. Arrow sailing through. They have just such perfect synergy on this combo. Nayrok trying to make it out of here, taking damage from the right click. The Impetus, the Desolator. Even Cake's going to work a little bit, and now they get the racks. Mission accomplished. eHug seemed to have just broken this game open.
Jigglebilly with the arrows. I mean, yes, he's being set up by Disruption, but I don't think he's missed a single disruption. Yeah, a single disruption arrow this entire game. So nicely done. And Justin, just really good focus fire there. The Invoker was sitting a little ways up. He charged up the hill, dropped the Abyssal Blade on him, and that was just it for the Invoker in that fight. And Chicken MC has been so instrumental in these fights going well for Shadows. And Nayrok just getting camped at the fountain.
Jeez. Oh, the arrow! Oh my god. Pandago actually kills him, I think, with the poison or the purge, but this looks like it's just about it for Shadows of the Past,
GG.
and they're finally Last Day Magic. GG's out, so eHug, they get their first win.
eHug back on track?
Maybe. I don't know. They look pretty good that game.
Yeah, I think I have to agree. I think eHug, things maybe not as clean as they were expecting. It was a little bit back and forth. Shadows of the Past, nice early game execution, taking in the tier 1 tower. After the way that the laning configuration worked out, I thought that it was an advantage as far as... I thought it was advantage eHug with the way that the lanes played out. But then, well, Shadows of the Past proved me wrong. They got that tier 1 tower. They got some really good pressure on Cakes. Things started to fall apart a little bit as we headed into the mid-game. But then Shadows brought it back with some nice Roshan team fights. And then eHug, well, they got the final punctuation mark. They managed to close it out.
And
a good series.
It looks like their build worked out for them in the end. I mean, it did probably go a little bit later than they were looking to. But, I mean, I have to say, once they were able to get the team fight they really wanted, get the good initiation, Pandago had some amazing disruptions that game, both offensively and defensively, and Jigglebilly, perfect follow-up the whole time. So, really nice game by eHug. You guys are watching High Ground TV here at the BTS NA Hub. This is Basekip. You can follow him at Basekip. I'm WhatIsHip. Follow me on Twitter at WhatIsHipTV. And our next game, well,
There's
We
the
had a schedule somewhere, but
It's down here.
all right. Next game
Okay.
is, I think, not an eHug game. First time today.
No, next game is going to be Isurus versus CNB. CNB have been looking pretty good today.
Yeah,
so-
let's check out the updated standings here. CNB is 2-0, and they're going to be going up against Isurus, who are 0-3. So, CNB, man, I was talking to Cinderin on the couch earlier, and he said, or actually, I think it was Fear. He said, "I'm a CNB fanboy now for the tournament."
Okay.
And they've been impressing.
That's a big endorsement.
Great play, and I know they've figured out their ping issues a little bit. Valve has been working with them
That's
to
great.
try to
That's
actively
really good to
figure
hear.
out, because they're in the last couple of weeks they used to have like 160 or something, which is playable, it's fine, but it's gone to like over 300 now, which is that's like Aussie ping right there.
Yeah, that's worse than Australia to US West.
Yeah.
So that's a pretty big feat for
So
CNB.
they seem to have figured some of it out, though. They are even streaming their boot camp, but
Awesome.
we'll see how that game's. And these times are wrong, but it's 20 after the hour, so it looks like that game's going to be in about 40 minutes.
Okay.
And you guys can check that out here with me and Basecap again. Going to be bringing that game, and then after that, what's after that? Cyrus versus eHug
So we're going to be following Isurus for that.
for a
And
couple of games.
eHug going to be coming back. I think there's actually other games maybe still ongoing, just
Yep.
because the CNB score hasn't come through. So I think there's still something going on over on the main studio stream. Of course, we've got 4 streams going on today, guys. If you want to check them out, I think it's twitch.tv/team/TI4NA
Yep.
is your best place to find.
Yeah, and
all
that
4
shows
streams.
all 4 streams of the day. You can check out the main stream down in the main studio, BTS2, which is upstairs, and also, of course, the couch stream, which everyone seems to be enjoying. It's been
Yeah,
a
it's
lot of
been good.
fun. So thank you guys again for joining us, and we'll be back in another couple of minutes, or about 40 minutes, for the next game.
See you then.